All right. Hello, and welcome to my stream. This is Rachel Hogan with Rachel Hogan's Art. And today we're going to draw with a pencil and just be creative. I was looking for my circles, but I can't find them, so we're going to do squares. So we will start with a square. Any object you use is just fine and dandy. Any angle, because we're using a pencil, so it's completely changeable. And you just start making your squares. You can draw the squares if you prefer. Sometimes I just like to trace shapes. Sometimes I'll draw them just freehand, depending on the mood and whatever it is I'm doing, and for whatever purpose. So today is a tracing a shape day, and then we can build on that shape. So what will this be? That is the question. The question. And the answer is, we shall see. I moved my camera a little bit, about 3 inches north of where it usually is. And normally I'm down here, so now I'm up here. And I've got paint all over this desk. I gotta clean it off. That's what happens when you're an artist. You just get paint on everything. So that's joyful. I'm just gonna enjoy that paint and move on. Okay, so next let's make this 3D. And so I don't get pencil all over my hand, I'm gonna get a little piece of paper. To rest my hand on. There we go. Paper. Okay, 3D time. So we've got our squares. Now we're just gonna go ahead and draw a line in a diagonal direction on the corner, and another line going straight across. And this is a little curvy, so my line's gonna be a little curvy. And then we'll draw it straight down. And this is gonna be our 3D shape. We'll fill it in with some lines here. Give it a little depth. How you turn a square into a box or a cube or any other object. And then we want to have a downline shape because our box shape is going up and down on the side. And some depth going back, like so. There we go. Oh, hello there, Bocod. Hi, sweetie. Thank you for coming into my stream tonight. What a joy to see you. Messy artists make the best work. Yes, they do. And being messy makes you more creative, for sure. Sean Kind of Funny, who? Hello. Yeah, I'm definitely one of those creative artists. And I was going to show you as well the drawing I did on the last stream of the girl with the flower and the hands. Let's see, I have it right here, actually. If you're there, Boat God. All right, this is what we did last week. Let me bring that up a little bit here. And I finished a little bit more afterwards, probably because I just felt like continuing drawing. Oh, I thought I turned myself on here. There it is. Okay. WGO. That's weird. Huh. Okay. So anyway, I take this drawing and I started painting this because I said I was going to turn it into a painting. So I made a copy of it, traced it onto a canvas, and I've been painting this thing all day. So this is the continuing saga of the artwork that I call Don't Take That Eye. And I've really been having a good time with this. It's kind of hard for me to paint on while I'm streaming and do a good job because I get nervous and screw it up and then I have to fix it later anyway. But I started this with an acrylic base on the canvas. This is canvas board, kind of thin. And once I got the canvas base in, very pretty still to this day. Aw. Thank you. That's sweet of you. Yep. So anyway, I took some acrylic paint and I'm just kind of filling it in. I did the tracing on here. I lost some of the lines and had to repaint them and some of the shaping, but it always comes together in the end. So this is like the halfway point, I would say, because obviously I had to add like her face. I ran out of paper for the rest of her face, so I added more flowers here on the side, and down here was pretty empty area, so we added more flowers down there on that side as well. And why can't I see the whole thing in here? Let's see if I hold this like this and move it over here and do this and that and finagle something. There we go. All right, so there's that. And so this is where I get my creative ideas from, are these live streams I'm finding. And today we're doing a creative box for now. That's what we started out with. When I say we, I mean I, but if you're with me, then it's we. Oui, oui, monsieur. Whoa, I went way out there. Okay. Right on down. And it's always good when you're using pencil and eraser to have a brush or a kneaded eraser, which is even better. So we're going to go ahead and do this a couple more times. It's kind of like Zentangle-y. Draw a line straight back, diagonal, diagonal, and I'm going to come across, but we're going to go through the back. This is going to give it a really interesting effect. It makes your eye wonder, like, wait a minute, is it going behind it or in front of it, kind of thing. Bring these lines down. And angled back to give it that depth. So we want to make sure that we have our shading, excuse me, that we render in the proper direction. Look at all this rendering. I don't know. I Googled the word render and it just doesn't really mean, it usually refers to money, but it's like such an artist term, artsy term. I guess so, yeah. Now the box within the box. This one is going to go inside, so we're going to angle these little lines from the corners inside and connect them in a square, like so. And kind of make it look like it's a three-dimensional box. Like it's a black hole going down into space. So that is this box. And I think I'm going to use a colored pencil for the next one. I haven't used my colored pencils for a while, so let's throw those in there. I spent time getting them all organized, roughly, in this cute little acrylic thing I found. So I don't have to throw them all on the table and pick them out anymore, like pick up sticks. That was actually a game back in the day. And I like red, so we're going to use red for our next color. Bring those corners back and then across. Continue our theme here. And this one, because it has the bottom, we're going to do one on the bottom as well, about the same length. And bring this line down. And that's going to give us our box look. And we'll just fill that in a little bit. We want to keep our lines going in the same direction. At least that's how I do it. As the direction that we're viewing it. So we're viewing it going back, so I'm putting my lines toward that way. Corner's always darkest. And I like to kind of make all the corners dark like that. And then I'll do some lines across just to fill it in. A little cross hatching. But keeping our main lines focused toward going back, away from. And now this box also has a bottom down here. So we're going to bring this in about the same amount of space that we did there. And then we'll bring it up, because this will be a cube shape. A very thick line here. I haven't used pencils for a while. And we're going to bring this right on up. Technically, this should be over a little bit more. But this cube is from my imagination. So I'm going to leave it right like it is. And lines going back, cross hatching. And let's fill in these little corners here. And same with the bottom. Because this is going back, and I like to get the corners, like I said, nice and diagonal. And I think I'll do another color here. I'm gonna give myself a heart. There, I feel better now. All right, next color shall be, let's see if I have any purpley color. I do have a purpley color. That's gonna be our middle box. I haven't decided what to do with this one yet. But here's a corner, so we're going to bring that corner back about the same length. Let's see, it really angles here. Bring that down. And try to keep that about the same size. Same length as the other lines, parallel. Bring them back at a diagonal. So this box kind of goes behind the other box. This gives us our 3D look. And I think we'll make this cube inside as well. We're going to bring that in all the way. Up and over. Get those corners in nice. And I think I want to take out this line here and here. We'll do our self-expression this way. So you can get a real interesting variety of looks just by drawing cubes and boxes and lines, going in different directions and similar directions. And this is a Tuesday night. Did anyone stay up to or get up early to see the blood moon? So I know I happened to be awake last night. I don't know. I think it was like around 4:30 in the morning, and I went outside and I did see the moon eclipsing, but it did not look red. And then it just kind of disappeared. So I don't know. Then I heard the best time to see it was at 3, but it was going to last until 7 in the morning. So I've been awake for a long time. And I'm ready for a long nap. There we go. Let's make that purpley. And that little box right there, we'll do a little oranginess, kind of a yellow-orange color. Bring that on in like that. Nice and easy. And I'm going to get my smudgy pen. My smudgy stick, I mean. It's not actually a pen. Alrighty then. So we've got like, we went from like just squares to boxes. Now we're going to do one more cube with our pencil. Just a regular pencil, not a colored pencil this time. And this is actually a corner here. That's where you should be bringing it down, is from the corner. You want the line to come straight down from the corner to make a really good cube. And then it would go over to the other corner, which we don't have in this picture because we have all this other stuff. So this cube is only going to show out here. And I like to cross those lines really nice. And we'll just angle that back in our diagonal direction. Keep all the lines in the same direction. Like so. And I've been thinking about switching over to TikTok. I don't know if I can do 2 platforms. It's taken me like a year to get 500 subscribers. Well, actually longer. Or I was also thinking of maybe just doing more content. But I have such a wide variety of interests that it's hard for me to just do one thing. Like, I love going to the beach and watching guys, you know, all the people fish on the jetty or the pier or the beach or wherever they're fishing from. And I like finding seashells. I like looking at wildlife, riding my bicycle. I mean, I have so many things I like to do that it's hard for me to just focus on one thing. So it's like when you're doing live streams or you have a channel, usually it's like, oh, okay, we're focused on this area. You know, art only or painting only or, I don't know, cooking only. But to me, it's hard for me to just limit myself that way, if that makes any sense. I want to have the freedom to do whatever I want, when I want, how I want, the way I want. And there's a big empty gap right there. How interesting is that? Which was part of this original square. But it's just out in no man's land right now. I'm going to leave it right there. And let's see, we can make that its own little box, I suppose. Yeah, we can bring it down in this direction on the corners, like so. And just make a whole new box out of that shape. Pretty cool. I'm just going to leave that little line right there in the middle because it's right where it's supposed to be. And this line right here is exactly where it needs to be. And then we'll just bring this forward. Get those corners marked out nice. Like that. And bring the wall up and back in the same diagonal direction. Keep all the lines going in the same directions. Very fun. All right, now the question is, where are we going to put an eyeball? You cannot have a Rachel painting without an eyeball in it somewhere. Well, I think, where can we use a face? Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's a nose. A little round nose. And this pencil lead likes to smear a lot, so I'm going to change the pencil leads. This is a more defined one. So it won't smudge quite as much as the other one. I think this is a 7. This is a 7. This is a 7 too, but the lead seems softer for some reason. And here's an eyebrow. That nose looks really funny. Let's just take that right on out. Cool. All right. So dude has some spiky hair. So there's our little face. Spiky hair dude. Got a semblance of an ear, an eye, and little fingers holding on to the ledge. And we'll let him have a little bit more face over here. It's all shaded in and shadowy because he's under the box thingy. Kind of like a hobo. All right, so there's our hobo drawing. And we've got our perspectives and we've got our little cubes just from drawing, using a little lipstick dish to draw little squares. And you know, you can keep growing on that and expanding and making it into something more or less. We could even give him a little body down here. You know, there's so many things you can do. I'm just going to put a little stand down here at the base. I'm going to just draw my lines this time. And I know this looks crooked. I have a tendency to draw crooked, but I want to turn my camera, but it only goes this way. It doesn't like angle. I guess I'll have to try and find another type of camera that will angle. Oh God, you love 3D art a lot? Oh, that's awesome. And you did perspective art when you had art class. Well, that's great. It's really cool, isn't it? And thank you for adding that comment, oh God. Drawing straight lines can be tricky, but the more you practice, the more straight lines will become, and also the way you hold your hand and stuff. You know, you want to hold it at a good angle where you can get a nice long line going across. And this one I'm going to bring I'm going to have it open in the back because it's torn. Give this box some rips. Shade that down here. Inside of that, the ripped look here. Sides are going to be good though, because we need good sides on this box. And there's the left side and the bottom. It's not going to be a cube because I'm not going all the way across. It's just going to be a box. So we stopped at this line here. If it was a cube, I'd go all the way to this corner. Well, plus it's more of a rectangle. Inside of this mess is a little critter. Get his little nose out of the little box. There he is. say he's kind of like a mouse. You know, when I started streaming, I did a lot of painting. And I've gone down to drawing. I'd like to find the very first one I did. Okay, and that's dark because it's dark in there. I'll put some yellow around the outside. Go around the outside, which is really the inside. And if we wanted to, we could take a wet paintbrush and actually maybe I'll do that. Let's give us a little bit of water here. Use my water from earlier today. And let's see, I don't know if we can do, this isn't ink. I was doing this with ink. I don't know if I can do it with pencil. Nope. It only works with ink. So there's our little mouse in a box. And it is almost 10 o'clock. It's close enough to where I would say we're good for our hour of art. Only so many cubes I can draw here. A little skin color poking out just a teeny bit. Little person. All right. This has been very fun. But it is time to bring it to the end. Thank you for joining me tonight. And what a good time. Oh, do we want to make these 3D? Sure we do. Let's do it. I'll just bring these back like that. Everybody gets their own little 3D box here. Nice little corners. Corner, corner, line, corner. We'll pretend that's a corner there. Droop it on down. And we get our 3D. Oh, it's a D. Cool. Once again, we've had a wonderful evening together. Thank you for joining. Hello, Rich. I'm getting ready to close this out. Thank you for hopping on, saying hello. We have reached the end with our Papa color to boot. So yes, my creative stream is limited to cubes today due to lack of sleep from last night. This is a really pretty color, actually. And you You can't really see that cubey look because the pencil I'm using is very smudgy. It's not a very clear pencil. I suppose if I use a pen, it might. Oh, I got pencil all over me again. The pen, of course, makes everything a lot more defined, I think is the word I'm looking for. I might just start doing ink all the time because the pencil is just so undefined. I don't know. It's cool though. Use it with all of our cubes to clean them up. A little mouse in the box. Well, Rich, thank you for popping in. I'm gonna pop out. Good night, Boat God. Thank you for saying good night and hopping in again. You're such a trooper. You always bless me with your presence every time I stream. I appreciate that. And that little mouse guy here. He's like, oh my goodness, it's coming out of the box. It's all chewed up in there. So you have all good night, and I will see you next time with Rachel Hogan's art. Thank you for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week.